All right, this is a video that's going to cover the session, What Do the Confessions Say About God? September 26th through October 2nd here in the class. And I start this class really in terms of dealing with the doctrine of the church, with the question about God, because that's in fact where the confessions begin, particularly in the Augsburg Confession. The first article is the article about God. And before we can go any further, it would be good for us to have some sense of what the confessions say about God and the nature of God. And it's also good, I think, to start our kind of theological discussions of getting actually into the theology of the text with one of the articles that there really wasn't any disagreement about between the Roman Church and the evangelicals. I mean, the identity and the nature of God, the triune God, was never in question. In fact, it was something that was wasn't disputed. And both sides would acknowledge this. And you'll see this in your reading. And so in a way, there's our hope in the sense that this is one place where there is agreement between these churches and there wasn't division. But as you continue to read through these texts that I've assigned you realize that when it comes to the general questions about the nature of God, is God triune, those sorts of things, there's agreement. But the disagreement begins when you start talking about the nature and the work of Christ, and you'll see that in your readings as well in this particular assignment. So I wanted to highlight that for you to recognize that this is one of those places where there wasn't a disagreement in terms of the general questions about the nature of God. The disagreements between the Roman Church and the evangelicals came. We started talking about the nature and the work of Christ and the way that people are saved and that sort of thing. Also, I'm going to have you reading some interesting stuff in the Formula of Concord, particularly about questions like predestination and that sort of thing. And this is going to move us a little bit into our conversation that we're going to have in the next session about the nature of humanity. Because you'll notice that this is the beginning, you'll begin to kind of see, anyway, this tendency within the evangelicals to place all power in the hands of God, and that there's not a lot of room for the work of humanity in terms of determining the relationship between human beings and God. And this is something that continues to be something that folks struggle with. We'll begin to get into really interesting ideas that the Reformers had that you might not have realized were part of our tradition. And so in this reading, as we talk about the general nature of God, and then we move into specific questions about the work of Christ, we're also going to be moving towards the next question that we're going to be dealing with on the nature of humanity. So I hope you enjoy these readings. Again, there's not a whole lot in them that's all that controversial, but it gives us a good place to begin as the confessions begin there. And then we'll be moving then into the things that then do become very controversial and points of division between the evangelicals and the Romans. And so enjoy this assignment, and I'll see you in the forums.